All right, let's talk about lettuce. Today we are going on a quest to figure out the absolute best way to grow it, that perfect, crisp lettuce, whether you've got a huge backyard or just a little spot on your balcony.
I mean, this is it, right? This is the goal. That incredible crunch, the vibrant green color, and a freshness you just can't buy at the store. It's that simple joy of picking something you grew yourself. This is the prize we're aiming for.
But let's be real for a second. How many times has that beautiful dream turned into, well, something else entirely? You end up with these bitter leaves or these weird lanky stems, and you start thinking, maybe I just can't do this. It's such a common story, but it really doesn't have to be yours.
And yeah, this is a sight we all know too well. One minute, everything looks great, a whole row of future salads. And the next thing you know, you're dealing with rot, or pests, or that one thing gardeners dread, bolting, where the plant just gives up on you. So, how do we dodge all that and get back to our goal?
Well, it all starts with the very first decision, and honestly, it's the most critical one. You have to pick the right type of lettuce for the job. Not all lettuce is the same, not by a long shot. And choosing your champion wisely really sets you up for success.
So at the most basic level, you've got two main styles. On one side, you have lettuces that form these tight, compact heads, like that sturdy romaine. And on the other, you have these beautiful, open, leafy rosettes, like this loose leaf variety. And just that one difference totally changes how you're going to harvest it and use it. And here's how they break down into the four main families. You've got Crisphead, think iceberg. It's all about that crunch, but it can be a little fussy. Then there's Butterhead, which is your super delicate, soft leaf type. Cause, which you probably know as romaine, gives you that nice, sturdy, upright structure. And then my favorite, loose leaf, the fast-growing star that lets you just snip off leaves whenever you need them. So the real question is, what do you want from your lettuce? Okay, and here is a major pro tip. You have to read the seed packet. If you're planning on growing when it's even a little bit warm, you absolutely have to find a variety that says heat-tolerant or slow bolt. Seriously, this is your first and best line of defense against that bitterness we were just talking about.
All right, so you've chosen your champion. Awesome. Now we move on to the next phase, getting those teeny tiny seeds to actually sprout. And this is where a little bit of science can make a huge difference.
If you only remember one number from this entire explainer, please make it this one, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 24 Celsius. This right here is the magic number. It is the absolute sweet spot for getting lettuce seeds to pop up as fast as humanly possible.
And this chart shows you exactly why that number matters so much. Just look at the difference. If the soil is a chilly 41 degrees, you could be waiting over 2 weeks. But get that soil up around 77 degrees, you'll see sprouts in just 2 days. But watch out, if you go much hotter than that, germination just falls off a cliff. Temperature is absolutely everything at this stage.
Okay, your lettuce has sprouted. Success. But now it enters the growing gauntlet. This is a period of super fast growth where it faces its biggest challenges, and you have to make some pretty big decisions about how you're going to help it along.
You've basically got two paths to choose from here. There's the traditional soil-grown path, which is all about creating a healthy garden ecosystem with compost and some natural allies. Or you can go the high-tech route with hydroponics, a totally soil-less system that gives you insane control over every single nutrient. So with a hydroponics system, you're essentially delivering a perfectly balanced, gourmet meal directly to the plant's roots through a little stream of water. It's incredibly efficient. You use way less water and fertilizer, and you often get faster results.
The recipe for success is a very precise mix of all these key nutrients, but the real secret? You have to be constantly monitoring. You've got to keep the pH and the electrical conductivity, or EC, which is just a fancy way of measuring how much food is in the water, in that perfect sweet spot so the plants can actually absorb all the good stuff you're giving them.
Now, if you're growing in soil, you don't use nutrient solutions, you use allies. We call this companion planting, and it's all about creating this diverse little community where different plants actually help each other out. It's pretty cool.
And what amazing allies they are. You've got things like chives and onions acting like bodyguards. Their strong smell just wards off pests. Then you have herbs like cilantro and dill that call in the cavalry, the good bugs like ladybugs that eat the bad bugs. It's a really beautiful natural defense system.
But look, no matter which path you take, you're going to face some trials. On the left, you see bottom rot, a fungal disease that just loves wet conditions. And on the right, that's tip burn,
It looks like a disease, but it's actually a sign of a calcium deficiency, and it's usually caused by inconsistent watering. This just goes to show you, good air circulation and consistent moisture are your two best friends.
So we've chosen our lettuce, we've helped it grow, and now we face the final boss, the single biggest enemy of a long and tasty lettuce harvest: bolting. So what exactly is bolting? Well, think of it like this. Your plant decides it's totally done making tasty leaves for you. It starts stretching way up high to make flowers and seeds instead. And for us, that means game over for delicious salads because the leaves get tough and super bitter. But you can fight back. Here is your official battle plan. First, start with the right variety, just like we talked about. Second, keep it cool with some shade and keep it hydrated with consistent water. Third, give it space to breathe so it doesn't get stressed out. And here's a clever little trick. Gently transplanting a mature head can sometimes shock it just enough to reset its internal clock and give you a few more days of good leaves.
So you've done it. You've beaten the bolt. You've harvested these crisp, perfect heads of lettuce. So what's the next level? The ultimate prize, creating a system that gives you a continuous supply, an endless harvest of fresh greens.
The secret is actually surprisingly simple. It's called succession planting. See, instead of planting all of your lettuce at once and having way too much, you just sow a small new batch every couple of weeks. So, just as you're finishing up harvesting one row, the next one is just about ready to go. It's a simple little rhythm that means you are never without fresh salad greens. You know, whether you're carefully mixing those hydroponic nutrients or you're building the perfect soil with compost and plant allies, the process itself can become really enjoyable. It's about more than just the final harvest. It's about mastering a recipe, just like a favorite cookie recipe. So the only question left is, which recipe are you going to choose to grow your perfect lettuce?